my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Akila. I'm a recent RN. I graduated from the University of Toronto and I just moved to Indiana with my husband, who's right over here, and my 2 cats. So this video is going to be a little bit different. On my Instagram, I got asked a bunch of questions, and some of them were nursing related and some of them were more personal questions. So if you head over to my Instagram at thatnursingstudent1, you'll see a Q&A highlight with the answers to the nursing questions. So for the more personal questions, I decided to do a video with my husband, Imran. I'm Akila, and this is Imran. So the first question is, how old are we? I'm 24 and he's 28.
Yes.
So another question is, what's our ethnicity? So I am mixed. I'm half Trinidadian and half Indian.
I'm just Indian and Canadian.
Yeah, we're both what is it, second gen? It's second gen, right? You're not second gen.
I'm second gen. You're first gen.
Oh. So my mom was born in Canada.
Okay.
My dad
Same
was...
with my mom.
Your mom was born in Canada?
So we're both second gen.
So what's our height difference is the next question. Okay, so I am 5'3", like 5'2.5", almost 5'3" is what I think. And we have a conspiracy theory on his height.
No, it's no conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy
I'm
theory.
like 5'10", or like 5'10.5", but...
And last time I had a tape measure and I measured him, he was 5'9".
Yeah, we can do it right now. But...
Well, go get the tape measure. Actually, I put it away.
Okay.
Wow, you've been saved. So the next question is, where did we meet and when did we get married? I'm going to match those two together. So we met when I was 18 and he was 22 at the time. So we met at the gym. I used to go to the gym before I started university because I had free access, and then he also used to work out at the same gym, and we had mutual friends, and then he also started talking to me online. So when did we get married? So when we started talking, we were friends, and I was only 18 and I just started university, so I obviously didn't know what I was doing with my life. So we fell in love pretty fast, and it took only a year for him to propose to me, and then I got married when I was 20 and he was 24. Next question is, like, how did we come to that decision to get married?
You want to get to know the person really well. Obviously, so beyond the whole, your feelings for the person, love, attraction, and all that, there's, like, that's enough, right? Like, for most people, like, okay, I want to get married. Oh, this is the person I want to be with. So, yeah, make sure you want to be with that person. Beyond the heart, make sure logically it makes some sense, right? Like, make sure you guys both agree on, the main things in life. Make sure you don't have major moral or ethic, like, ideologies that differ. And make sure you have similar goals in life so you can actually work towards a common goal. Make sure, you can talk about kids, all that kind of stuff. If you want to have kids in the future, make sure that, these big decisions have been talked about. It's also good to just go over certain, like, question answer lists. Make sure you get to know each other really well. That's kind of stuff we did. We really got into, like, the deeper questions and important questions, like, early into our conversations, because that's the kind of stuff you want to really know in a partner. So that's kind of, like, how and why we did it. And there's no point in waiting, in our eyes. So we wanted to make it happen as fast as possible. So, once we told our parents, we tried to essentially get married as soon as possible.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't like our families took it really well at first. They obviously tried to talk us out of it and be like, are you sure you want to do this? Because you're looking out for your family. It seems like a crazy idea.
Oh, we worried, like, oh, she'll drop out of school. Like, that's one of those.
Yeah, I had family members that were like, make sure you continue living your life and all that. And for me, like, if you know me, I'm a pretty logical person, so they didn't really believe that I knew what I was doing, because obviously I was still a baby. Like, I was 20 years old. I'm still pretty young. I'm 24, but it's also a leap of faith. We had to talk about all this stuff, and it wasn't smooth sailing. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we decided we want to get married and all of a sudden, like, everything's peaches and roses. Is that a saying? Peaches and roses. There's a lot of ups and downs. So if you are going to get married young, just make sure that you have a strong foundation with each other and know that you guys are on the same page. So another question was specifically for me. As a woman, how did I know he was going to support me in my career? So like I was just saying, like, my family was kind of nervous that I wasn't going to finish school. I was just going to drop out and have babies. And I actually, like, had some of those comments come to me on my wedding, which was, like, annoying. Like, somebody said, oh, look, you got married now. Like, you're just going to drop out of school and have babies. And I was like, excuse me? Like, obviously I didn't say anything because, like, it was my wedding day and I wasn't about to, like, throw hands. I guess people were just worried because, like, it can happen. But there's nothing wrong with that either. Like, if that's what I wanted and that's what he wanted, then who cares? Like, it's our lives. We can decide what we want to do. At the end of the day, they didn't want me to accidentally make a choice that would impact my life that I would be not happy with in a few years. We talked about it. I made sure that he was okay with me going to school and that not much was going to change in our first few years of marriage.
And that I would support you.
And then yeah, he would support me. So another question was about finances. How do we deal with finances? So when I was in school, he supported me financially. Before, I used to work a part-time job to support myself and go to school at the same time. But once we got married, we kind of discussed like he was going to financially support me so that I could spend more time with him, which is another question. Like, how do you manage being married and being in school at the same time?
I was working, I guess, when we got married, so I just kept working. We agreed that I would work, and she would be aiming to get a job after school. So yeah, and I was okay with that. You know, I think that's my responsibility if she doesn't want to. But she did have the goal to start working eventually, so that was kind of one of the things we planned and agreed on, that okay, she'll be working, so it will help with like bills and other things like that, and help us achieve certain goals we have in life.
So now that I am going to be working in the US, when I start getting paid, we're going to start splitting finances more equally. Again, it's just like something that you and your partner have to talk about and have to agree on. It's not like there's no right or wrong way to do it. But yeah, that's how we do finances. Another question is, how did you know that he or she was the one? So for me, I didn't really know that he was the one. You're never going to be 100% sure before you get married, is he or she the one? Because it's always a leap of faith no matter how much you love that person, because they can turn around or a person can change just like that. You won't have everything laid out for you that points to yes, this person is the one. For me, it was more like he felt like home to me and we loved each other and there was no one else that I wanted to be with, I ever saw myself being with, and we wanted to build our lives together.
Yes, I think like after getting to know the person, kind of seeing what their goals are, knowing the person well, as long if you can see yourself like kind of having a future with this person like forever, like really think about it, like forever, can I be with this person, do I want to be with this person, then you essentially know they're the one. But like yeah, like she said, like, you know, they feel like home, if you're comfortable with them, if you want to be with them all the time, or you only see that person as someone you'd want to be with, then you know that should definitely help in that search for the one. But always keep in mind like the logical aspect of it. Make sure you guys work together, communicate well, have compassion for each other, because otherwise it's not going to help in a long relationship.
So I think like we're kind of very similar in a lot of ways. So like
maybe it just worked.
Yeah, we might have just clicked in that sense that like we have the same, like I'm not like, we're both introverted in the same way, but we can both be extroverted.
Yeah, like we both have very different interests and hobbies as well.
I don't like dueling.
Anything I do.
He's a big nerd, and that's okay. I like nerds. I'm also a nerd too, so it works out. Like we're
You're
nerds.
just a study nerd. Those are the worst nerds.
That's rude. I'm an amazing nerd. So were there any like major compromises that we had to make getting married so young?
If you want to have more independence in your life, like for example, if you want to get a motorcycle before someone tells you not to, do it before you're married. So like no,
it's dangerous.
No, but really, if you want to have, it's okay. I'm okay without a bike. If you have certain things in life you want to, you know, experience, learn, spend time with, or practice, whatever. Like being in a relationship takes a lot of time. So if you really care about that relationship and value it more than like a career or anything like that, where all you want to do is work for money or goals in life, a lot of your time will be going towards that if you're not in a relationship. So if you want to kind of focus your time elsewhere, consider doing that first, or at least starting before, so you can help, you know, direct your energy there. Because once you're in a relationship, it will take a lot of time from you, unless you guys both don't need a lot of time together, which is something between a couple. But
he has a lot of knowledge. No, I definitely, that makes sense, because like even for me, hanging out with like girlfriends, you don't do it as much when you're married.
Yeah,
like,
you'll never hang out with friends as much when you're in a marriage.
And sometimes I'm like, how would have my life been different if I chose to not get married so young? But at the end of the day, like I'm obviously happy with my decision. He's right here. Disagreements. How do you handle disagreements and anger?
Usually just punch a wall. I don't know. I guess we both have different ways, right? So I like to talk things out when it happens, but she kind of needs to take more time. So I learned to give her time and space if she's angry. And usually we'll both kind of know to apologize if you know, mistakes are made or things are said.
Oh, that's a big thing. Being able to say sorry in a relationship. Like, I feel like some marriages can turn toxic if you don't know how to apologize. And a lot of people actually don't know how to apologize. Just
always think you're right.
Yeah. Like, you're not always right. You're gonna get angry, you're gonna get into arguments, it's just life, but you just have to know how to communicate and how to deal with it, and you learn the way that your partner works and the way you work, and then you find a middle ground.
Yes.
Who is more clingy?
So I think you're more clingy, slightly, but we both like our space, and we also both like our together time too. I'm usually always doing something, so I guess my mind is more occupied with like a bunch of things. So
I'm convinced he has undiagnosed ADHD.
100%.
Because like he will do, from the minute he wakes up, he will be like, I need to do this, and then that's it. Once he's on, like the whole day he's just doing things, and I guess that helps me because then it taught me to like be able to do things like all day. But like if he doesn't do enough by the end of the day, he'll be like, oh, I need to gym at like 1 a.m.
This has nothing to do with clinginess. Anyway,
Maybe we both have ADHD.
I mean, we're both clingy at certain times, but she's a little more clingy, as I'm usually more preoccupied with stuff in my head. But
I think there's times where you're more clingy though in that aspect. Like if I don't give him enough attention, like if I'm busy with something, he'll like...
Yeah, that's if you're like busy all day and then we don't talk.
Yeah, there's also days where you're gonna be like, if you're both like working and doing stuff, there's times where you don't talk, so you have to make sure you make time for that other person. So at the end of the day, like we check in with each other. If he's working for a long time and like, or if I'm doing something and we notice that like we haven't seen each other in a couple hours, even if we're in like the same house, we just like go check in on each other. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I think maybe married couples do that. Another question is kids. Do we want to have kids and when do we want to have kids? Not sure.
I think maybe like soon, meaning, you know, within some years maybe.
We're not sure. I don't know. God knows.
Wills.
And then the last question is moving to the States. Like, how do you know that this was the right decision? It was, again, a leap of faith. I think because we're so young, we have the luxury of making these decisions. And so I kind of touched on this in my last video, just like the state of Ontario and healthcare. I wanted to be excited for my first job and I wanted to try something new. So he was interested in moving to the States as well, so we're both on the same page. I mean, we don't even know if we want to stay here or how long we want to stay here for, but we're both open to just trying out new things, so it works out in that sense. So that's it for the questions. We have Luna and Nismo here to say goodbye. Want to say bye? Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also please follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting a lot of updates coming up, especially starting my new job. So if you want to keep up, go follow me there.